So this is definitely a dress that Instagram made me make. The first time I saw it, I found it a tad unpractical. The second time I was obsessed with the pictures, and the fourth time I bought the fabric. So here we go. I'm going to make my flying dress from a thrifted duvet. This duvet is a satin kind of fabric. I wanted silk, but silk is too expensive for me, so I went for satin. You need a soft, flowy fabric, and I just really love the silver gray color of this fabric. Then I got rid of the buttons because they are not invited to this party. I always try to keep the buttons when I cut them off things, but these broke when I did that, so yeah, they will never be invited to another party again, I'm afraid. And then I rolled up and sewn all around the edges to give this dress a nice hem for a good finish. Then I took this piece of fabric out for a lovely stroll around my garden where I tested the flowiness and the overall look of the fabric, and I was satisfied. But the problem is that this fabric is way too big around my belly, so I decided to slim it down by adding a lot of folds to the back. I'm going to slim this down until it has the size of my ladies, because I want to be able to put this dress on and off without using a zipper. I really prefer using elastics to zippers because they're just so much easier to get in, and yeah, I don't really like zippers. But anyway, after I made the folds, I sewn them in. Be sure to be very careful when you do that, because if you sewn them in with a fold, you will see that on your end result and you will have to get out your seam ripper, and nobody likes getting out their seam ripper. So it's better not to make mistakes in the first place and to be careful. So then I folded the skirt double, and now I'm going to close it. I want to split, but let's talk for a second about the length of the split, because the first time I made a split, I made it really short because I think it's very sexy, but that is super unpractical because, you know, you constantly have to be sure that people don't see your underwear. So now I decided to make my split 40 centimeters or 15 inches from the top of the skirt, what is around your belly button. That's such a fun word to say. Belly button, belly button, belly button, belly button. One of my favorite words in English. Okay, moving on. So here you see me testing the split, and I like the length of it. I also still like the length and the look of the skirt. And this finishes the skirt. And you deserve a round of applause for finishing this skirt, watching me finish it, or thinking about finishing it. Congrats, I'm very proud of you. Here you see me drafting the pattern for my top. I'm going to make a one shoulder top, but you have so many options with these dresses. You can go for it, you can go more conservatively, whatever you like, you can make any option. So I drafted the pattern for my one shoulder top, and I made the shoulder top 3 times bigger than I wanted it, because I'm going to lay some folds on this as well. So I did this by copying a t-shirt and just cutting off one shoulder. Make sure that there's as much cleavage showing as you are comfortable with, and then I folded over the edges of my 2 pieces so I would have a nice finish. And then I made these folds that I also made in the skirt on top of the shoulder, because I thought that this would give a nice effect and make it like kind of coherent with the skirt. So once I made the folds, I laid the top together, and then I sewn all the sides that should be sewn together in the top together. And now it's time to set this to the skirt. And we are almost there, so don't give it up. Then I turned the top inside out and I shoved it over my skirt, and I'm going to pin and sew this together so I have a dress. This would also be really cool in a 2-piece though. But anyway, I made it into a dress, and if you watch this closely, you will notice that my skirt was a little bit too big, so I kind of toyed around with the folds until it had the perfect size, and you could not see this on the end result, so I toyed around good. Is toyed around even a word? Okay, now you see me wearing the dress. And as you notice, it is still a little bit too big, so I'm going to put an elastic in this and pull it to my waist like I'm in the 1900s, and putting on a corset.
Mama. Tighter!
Is she to breathe, Mama?
As a final step, I measured a piece of elastic around my belly. Waist is a more proper word for it, I think. And then I pinned it all around the inside of the fabric, and I sewn it to the skirt with a zigzag stitch. With this method you do see the elastic on the inside. That doesn't bother me, but if that bothers you, you should find a way where you don't see it. So, and now I have the dress, so it's time for the photo shoot. I did this one at the Flemish coast, and I really love the contrast between like the silvery gray of my dress and like the dunes that we have in there with like the green and the sand. The only sad thing was that there was no wind, and I'm born at the coast and there's normally always a lot of wind, but that day there was no wind. So at the end we decided to have my friends throw the dress up into the air, and my other friend snapped a picture right on time. That is where good friends are for, of course.
Go! Woo!
This method worked quite good, but the only disadvantage is that you have to Photoshop people out. And I will also show you the before and after of my Photoshop. I also added some lighting, but I do think it's important that you see the before and after of a photo more, that it's a thing that we should see more on social media, just to realize that like nobody and nothing is perfect. So here you have all my before and after shots. I got a job photoshopping my friend out. I'm not the best at Photoshop, I will admit. I'm still in like a big learning process, but you know, I'm very happy with the end result of those pictures. So yeah, I really love this one. The only regret that I have is that I wanted the train to be a little bit longer, so I think I'm going to make one with like a 8-meter train if I ever find the fabric. So yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye, see you next time, hopefully.